Hello and welcome. I'm Mike. Welcome back to My Own Worst Enemy. We are getting ready to start turn 7 of Don't Tread on Me. If you will remember from turn 6 of Don't Tread on Me, we actually finished up with our Liberty Bell hovering at 1, which is amazing for me. We're getting ready to go into turn 7. I've never had the Liberty Bell this low going into turn 7. Or 6 or 5 or 4 really for that matter. And so we're going to start. One quick note before I start, as always, some corrections. I'm not going to change anything from last turn, but I will make a note that could have actually held this Liberty Bell down to 0. That's right. If I had not made this mistake, there's a possibility that the Liberty Bell would be sitting at 0 right now. And that mistake was when I deployed the reinforcements for the minor campaigns, I randomly placed the units, and that's a no-no. When there's a campaign, major or minor, the rules are very specific about placement of these units into these states. And I forgot, and I randomly rolled and placed them in the county. So there was a chance we could have actually held on to Pennsylvania. This Continental would have been eliminated. I could have moved this horse unit in and very likely could have taken Pennsylvania, which would have kept this Liberty Bell from moving up. But I made the mistake. I'm going to let it stand. My punishment will be to leave this at 1. So let's see if we can keep it there. I really don't think it's going to go down anymore. It would be 4 times that we rolled a 6 to check Congress in flight, and that would probably be one of the signs of the apocalypse if we do that again. So let's see what happens. So let's go ahead and start. We are starting at turn 7. It is early 1888, and it's a winter turn. So as always, we receive our money first, and it says that we get 10 pounds for turn 7. So I've already got 1. That's going to give us 11 pounds to spend. Not as nice as some of the previous turns. And then we follow the news instructions. So let's go to turn 7. And remember, this is a winter turn, and so this 4 signifies the roll that the Continentals are going to have to make to survive the harsh winter. And we'll get into the details of what the modifiers are and what they've got to roll again exactly with those modifiers to survive. And before I do start, this is where we're hoping they don't survive, is in New England, because I'm getting quite a stack built up here in New England. It's still making me really nervous. Things are going so well except for that stack being there. So the news, we'll start noting that the target is still Pennsylvania for this turn, so maybe we can take Pennsylvania back. But the news is France declares war. So let's go into the rule book and see exactly what that means. I mean, I'm sure it's just what it sounds like. And it says France allies with the American rebels. So now we're going to start rolling 3d6s for the random events table, and that'll be in place for the rest of the game. So the French forces are heading over to America to fight. Place the French army in Boston. So we will do that now. We're going to place the French army, which is here. And before we place it into Boston, let's take a quick look at the stats. There's Rochambeau there, 6, 7, and 8. So we're not going to really want to see the French. Oops. We're not going to really want to see the French army be deployed in any of our conflicts. So they're going to go to Boston for now to start. And place the French fleet in the Caribbean. So the French fleet is up here, and we will place it in the Caribbean. Now you will note there are no strength points or stats on this marker. The French fleet has, basically we're going to use it as a marker to show where the French determined to intervene, and it has a couple other meanings, but we'll get to those as needed. Moving right along, we get to add 1 white band British foot and 1 gold band loyalist to our force pool. So one white band foot. That would be this last one up here. So he's going to come down into the force pool, and one gold band loyalist. So looks like there are 3 loyalists, but specifies a foot, so it's going to be one of these 2. And don't know if I'm going to put a lot of thought into this. So looking at the strength, it's remember wilderness, farm, and town. So looking at Pennsylvania really quick, since that's our target state, with this unit being in the wilderness, I think I might grab this one. We may bring this one out. And I think that's it. Yep, that's all for the French declare war news event. So let's move right along. And we go into the smugglers phase. And of course you remember this. We will roll to place 2 of these smugglers. And there's privateers already out there, so we're just going to grab these 2 and see where they go and which sea zones. So let's go ahead and roll for 2. 2 and 2. I'm gonna have to look that one up. I don't remember what that means. I don't know if that means they both will go into sea zone 2. I probably should just rolled each die individually if that's what it means. I'm not even gonna look it up. Let's clear this and start over. We're going to take a mulligan there. All right, so the first smuggler is going to go into sea zone 5. So that's going to put this first smuggler into the Chesapeake Bay. And this second smuggler is going to go into sea zone 2. That's Massachusetts Bay. I nope, he can't go in there. He cannot go in there because there are already 2 in there, so he doesn't get placed. He goes back to the Caribbean. That's good. Although there are still enough smugglers out on the board to keep us occupied. So let's go on down to rebase the French fleet. I'm going to turn to the rule book here. It says rebase the French fleet 6-1 Boston if I think that's a hurricane symbol there. So it says 6-1 rebase the French fleet. If the current turn has a hurricane warning flag on the turn track, then it's hurricane season. Move the French fleet from Boston, or to Boston, from its current location. So it's the French army that's in Boston, so not the fleet. The fleet still is in the Caribbean, and I don't think this is a hurricane turn. It's not. So on my turn track, you can actually see the hurricanes, and those are designated with the little flags in the game itself that you get. So no hurricane season this turn, so there's no rebasing of the French fleet. So we go to attack smugglers. And we have all of our ships again. And gotta pay for them, right? So it's 2, 4, 6 if I want to use them all. I don't know if I want to do that. That's a lot of money, but let's see. We've got 5 units in the force pool. Well, let's see. I am definitely going to send one of my strength 4s to Chesapeake Bay. That's 2 pounds. So let's bring that from 11 down to 9. And yes, I'm moving and placing, and but hey, at least I'm remembering to pay for them this time. And I'm going to bring one of the 3 strength into Sea Zone 6, so he's only a cost of 1 pound, so that takes down to 8. And I'm going to take, we got 7 pounds. I really want to knock this one in North Atlantic out if I can, or at least try. You know, and one thing I didn't talk about, I don't think we've mentioned this yet, and I have not done it because it's another one of those rare things for me to do, but one thing you can do in this game, I think I am going to move this strength 4 unit to the North Atlantic to attack this smuggler, because remember that is targeting our target state this turn, so that will hopefully stop any other units from coming into Pennsylvania. But another thing you can do, so I've got to pay 2 pounds for that, so that takes us down to 6. What I could do is I could take this last privateer, and I could also bring him up to the North Atlantic. So I could actually pay another pound, bring him up here, and then use both of those ships to attack this smuggler. So, and even if there were three, if I could even bring 3 units to attack that one smuggler if I wanted to. And then, you know, once the battle is over, if I won on the first shot, then of course I've wasted those other 2. They would just all have to come back to in harbor. But I just want to make a note that you actually can attack. You can actually use more than one of your ships to attack smugglers in sea zones. Again, I don't really like to do that. Probably should. I'm tempted in this case. It would take me down to 6 pounds, so I'm not gonna have a lot of money to spend if I do that. But yeah, I don't know. That's an iffy one. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Let's do it. We haven't done it yet. Let's try it. So I'm gonna spend that pound. Take us down to 5. Okay, and that's the placement and the spending. So I'm now going to proceed to attack the smuggler. So remember, I've got to roll a 4 or less for this guy to defeat the smuggler. So let's go ahead and see what we get. You roll a 5. Okay, so good thing I decided to double up there. So this unit comes back to in harbor, and I think I've got my tabletop simulator lift height here a little short. I'm gonna bring this up just a hair to kind of drive me nuts. And then so now that I decided to try this again, or to double stack these units, I get to try once more to remove this smuggler. So let's roll the red die. I've got to roll a 3 or less now. 50-50 shot here, and I roll a 2. So good thing I did that. We get rid of this smuggler. He comes down here. This one goes back into in harbor, our ship, and we keep moving. So Chesapeake Bay, that's a strength 4, so we've got to roll 4 or less to get rid of one of those smugglers, and we roll a 3, another good roll. So that smuggler comes to the Caribbean. Hal goes back in harbor, and we have one more sea zone to deal with, and this is a strength 3, but this is a privateer, so he gets to shoot first, and he's got to roll a 2 or 1 to take us out. And let's see what he gets. We all saw that coming by now, right? This blue die roller is against us. Okay, so he gets to stay out, and I don't get to attack back. I just have to place graves into harbor, and I'm going to clear those. So, well, we could have done better there, I think, but we did clear out Sea Zone 1, so Pennsylvania is free and clear as far as placing those Continentals for now, for this turn anyway. And we move right along. Shatter the French fleet. Now, it cost nothing to do this except a ship, and I'll be honest here, I should have held one of my ships back, because what you can do is you can shatter the French fleet, and basically that just means if the French do intervene in an area, you have shattered the French fleet, it'll help you with the die roll to prevent that French army from intervening in. I think it's like a -1 you'll get off the die roll to keep the French from intervening in one of your battles. I forgot. This is the first time we've had the French present. I don't do it all the time anyway. I might have done it this time though, so we are not going to do it. No shattering the French fleet this turn. And that brings us to winter attrition, and this is a winter turn, so blue 4, and I'm going to turn to page 7-1. It's probably in my notes, but well, actually here it is in my notes. Let's grab those. Blue areas on the turn track, check for survival. All Continental Army units must be checked to see if they survive the harsh North American winter. That's every Continental on the map. Unit must roll higher than the survival number. So remember, it's 4 for this turn. So they've got to roll higher than a 4. Now they will get some modifiers. George Washington will add +2 to the roll. If units are in Carolina, it's +2. Town or forts +2. We've seen this before. I think we had in turn 5. one of those town units actually survived because they got that bonus. So let's see, Continentals. And there's a stack in New England, so I guess we're going to start there. That's not a state where George Washington is. It's not Carolina. The units are all in farmland, so there's no... Well, they get +1 for a farm. They would get +1 if it's in Virginia. It's not. And an Indian unit in this state is a -1. There's no Indian unit, so it's... Basically, they're going to get +1s to their rolls. So it's rolling a... They have to roll a... 3, 4, or 5 to survive. So let's start with county number 1. I'm just going to drag these units. We'll just drag them over here to the side. And remember, it's just Continental, so this cause unit will stay here no matter what. And starting with this top Continental unit, he has to roll a 4 or higher to survive. And if he doesn't, he goes back to the force pool, not the prisoner war box. So let's see if he survives. He rolls a 1. +1 for being in a farm is a 2, and that is nowhere near enough to survive the winter, so this unit will come back into the force pool. I feel a little better. And now the second Continental Army rolls a 4, +1 is a 5, so he actually does survive. He'll go back into County 1. And then let's bring out, is it just... Oh my goodness, these are all cause units. I thought those were Continentals. All right, well, so we have one Continental who's going to try to survive the winter. And he does not, another 1. So 1 + 1 is 2. He comes back into the force pool. And we move right along to Pennsylvania. So Pennsylvania has Washington, so they're going to get +2. They're in the wilderness, no effect, no Indians present, so I think it's just the +2. It is, so he's going to roll. It's a 5 + 2. It's more than enough, so he's going to stay right where he's at. Would have been nice to see him go away, though, because that's our target state this turn. And that, I believe, are all the winter checks for the Continentals. You do not check the ones in the prisoner of war box. They're all safe and snug in their cells. I don't know how snug they are, but I mean, we're safe. But they're in their cells. But they do survive. So we go down to amnesty. I think, let's see. There's only 3 Continental armies in the prisoner war box. That's it. The amnesty is where 5 or more, anything above 5 would have been released automatically, but there's not. And then the next one is the paroles, and that's where we would swap equal number of units to get them out of prison, but we have no one in prison right now, so these 3 Continentals have to sit there. That's okay with me too. And that's going to bring us to unit purchase with my £5. That's not a whole lot. And to purchase anything, I've got to get this Hessian unit out of here. That Hessian unit is going to cost £1, so I really have £4. Okay, looking at the map. Well, I know that Pennsylvania is a priority state for me this turn. So we want to try to hold that target state and then 2 other states. So, and we're looking at knocking these Continentals out of this wilderness county. So who's good in the wilderness? This foot unit is. It's a white band. That would be £2. This loyalist is very good in the wilderness, and he's only he's £1. So let's spend the £1 to get this loyalist unit into that county. Oops, I forgot to place my Hessian unit. Actually, he's good in the wilderness too. Do I want to put him there, though? We got a lot of force building up in Pennsylvania. And I'm looking at these 2 lower sea zones. Remember, we have Continentals coming into Carolina and Virginia. You know, I'm just going to, well, and see, the other thing about Hessians is well, that's not going to matter in Pennsylvania or Carolina. I was going to say that the Hessians have a influence on loyalty and your militia rolls. but they're already in each of those. So if I throw them into Virginia, I'm just adding another reduction in loyalty there, basically. I think I'm going to just put him into Pennsylvania. And that'll give us a pretty good amount of strength there in Pennsylvania. So hopefully we'll be able to take Pennsylvania and hold on to it. 3 pounds. I'm tempted to just stop there. I could bring out, this guy's only 1 pound. He's really good in town forts, and I could put him into Carolina, actually. That may not be a bad idea. I've got 2 guys here. They're looking pretty good up there. This guy, of course, I could also put him up in the Philadelphia area. Let's see. I'm tempted to spend 2 pounds. No, that's going to take me down to 1 pound. I'm kind of thinking I should leave some money in case I want to try to increase some loyalty again. Like Pennsylvania is getting very, very low. There could be some benefit to having a little bit of money left into doing some of those later game actions that you can take. There's also some advantages to keeping the Continentals out of states you want to take it. You want to keep. You know what? I'm gonna keep my 3 pounds. I'm gonna stop there, and we're gonna see what happens. So that takes us down to unit movement. And unit movement is where I am free to move units freely within the state. Switching my notes here as we do this. I want to catch up. I'm trying to do a better job with these rules, but it's very hard. So unit movement, like I was saying, to any unit within the same state at no cost. So I can shuffle my forces around here. Carolina doesn't need that. Virginia, don't think I need to do that. This is good. This all looks good. Pennsylvania, I may want to consider this. Let's see. And we're looking pretty good here, though. I'm not going to, I don't think I need, and I can always move the horse unit into battle. And I may do that. So I'm not going to move anybody there. I could shuffle these units. I could put, see, this British foot unit is only a 1 in the wilderness, which isn't so great. This one is a 3 in the wilderness, which is a lot better than 1. I know he's a 4 in the town fort, but this guy's a 3 in the town fort, so that's not too bad. I don't know if, well, we don't know if anybody will be placed into New York yet, because it depends on how that, depends on the campaign phase, really. I don't like seeing that 1 in there, though. Yeah, let's shuffle them. Let's bring this guy down here. We're going to bring this unit into the fort. So now we have a 3 in this wilderness versus that 1. I feel a little better there, but that's going to do it for my unit movement. We'll go to force march, beware of Lee. So this is where I can move any unit again to any county at the risk of losing that unit. And if you remember last turn, I did this with one of the Hessian units and he did not survive the move. So I don't want to do that this turn. And not because I lost that unit, just because I really don't see any need to do it. So I'm not going to do a forced march. The British horse action, we can move our horse units around, but again, I don't see any need to do that. I don't know if Lee's even out there. It says beware of Lee. Of course, remember that Lee could possibly prevent moving your horse units around. But I don't think he's out there. I think he's in that force pool. And now we will place George Washington in the state with most British player units. And watching out for the stack. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in Virginia. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in Pennsylvania. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 in New York. So Pennsylvania and Virginia are tied. And I believe that when there's a tie, he goes to the target state. So let's look at the rules. If Washington is in play, determine which of the 3 middle states he will be placed. Yada la la la. If 2 or more states are tied, or all 3 have no British player units, and then place Washington in the target state. So we do have tie here. We have 5 in Virginia and 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in Pennsylvania. So the target state is Pennsylvania. Washington's going to stay right where he is. And like I said last turn, he should have gone to Virginia, but I miscounted. And that will take us to the first battle phase, where you'll remember that we are the attackers. So we're going to start in, or there's nobody in New England. So we'll go to New York. There's no one in New York. We will go to Pennsylvania. Well, we're going to have a battle in Pennsylvania. So this will be a little different this time because we have the French in the game now. There's the huge French army. So we're going to have to check for French intervention in this battle. So let's see. I think that's the first thing we do before we do anything. So yes, check for French intervention. If a battle takes place in a county marked with a blue die, then the French may intervene. Well, then that's not going to be a problem here because we don't have a blue die. We're in the wilderness. There's no blue die. There's this red die, and that's what these blue die signify. These are counties where the French could choose to intervene based on the die roll you get, and that's not going to be an issue here, so we can skip that. And we go right into our regular attack mode, and we know that we are the attackers. So I'm going to bring the battle marker out, and I will bring my units into the battle box. We will bring the Continental unit into the battle box and see where Pennsylvania sits. Put that battle marker in there. Pennsylvania is at 2. See, that's why I'm saving money. So maybe I can get Pennsylvania's loyalty up a little bit. Okay. Washington is there, but he's not going to change. He's not going to modify the call for militia here. He will prevent us from increasing Pennsylvania's loyalty if we win. We are in the woods, the wilderness, so we are the attackers. 3 plus 3. Oh wait, what am I doing? Forgetting to roll for militia. We're at 2. Getting ahead of myself. So we roll on the 2. We roll a 4. We get no 1 and they get 2. Well, I don't like that. There's already somebody out there. Look at that. So this goes to 2. We're at 0. And now we count up our strength points. So we are at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus 0 is 6. And they are at 2 plus 2 is 4. That puts us at a percentage of 1.5. So we're here. And we attack. And I roll a 1, which is a counterattack. Okay, so that takes this to the 100% column, and the rebels will counterattack. I don't like that. Now I don't guess it would matter because Washington's there anyway. I think this is a brand new battle. So no, actually it's not. When you counterattack, the battle's still going basically. So we will just continue. Leaving everything where it's at, go to the 100% column, and now the Continental is attacking us. Basically, the strength points are the same. So, in this time though, it's the attackers 4 divided by the defenders 6. We'll put them on the 65%. No, it doesn't. What am I doing? See, I'm not listening to my. I always do that. I always catch myself though, so that's good. Well, most of the time I do, but I always want to do that calculation and move around. We're on the 100% table, and the Continentals are counterattacking. And they roll a 1, attacker eliminated. Okay, excellent. Reset this. They are eliminated, so they go into the prisoner war box. We go back to this #1 county in Pennsylvania. We do not get the loyalty increase that Pennsylvania would have gotten because Washington's there, so that sucks because Pennsylvania's sitting at 2 right now. Would love to bump that up a little bit. But the good news is we did actually take the Continentals for now out of Pennsylvania, so that's the target state. That's good. Moving right along, there's no one in Virginia, and there's no rebels in Carolina. Okay, eerily quiet, eerily quiet. So that's going to be the end of the first battle phase. That was pretty quick. And so now we go into the place rebel phase. So first things first, we do our committee of safety. And we clear. And let's see where he will end up. This committee of safety goes to New England. And this will be a random placement inside. I'm going to double check that. I'm confusing myself with all these placements lately. So let's just make double sure that it is a random placement. And it is. I knew it was, but I'm just double checking everything. So let's see where he goes in New England. County 6. Further building up New England. And that's the cost placement. Now we go to the Continental Army placement. So if you'll remember, we roll to see which C-zone to start with. We'll be starting with C-zone 6. Let's grab one of these. And C-zone 6 connects to Carolina. So let's shuffle this. And we will grab a random Continental. And that will be placed randomly inside of Carolina. Double checking. Yeah, okay. So let's see where he's going to go. 4, county, oops, where am I going? County 4 is up here, so that's the wilderness. And we go to the next C-zone. C-zone 1 has no one. C-zone 2 feeds into New England, and 2 Continentals will be placed. Oh, there's Arnold. So let's see, starting with the top one, we'll go into county #1. And Arnold will go into county #3. So Benedict Arnold is in Rhode Island. He's not going to have much meaning for us, though, this turn. C-zone 3, no smugglers. C-zone 4, no smugglers. So we go back to C-zone 5. And oops, I want to grab a Continental for our roll. And this Continental will go into County 5, which is here. It's a good county for him to go into because we have 2 units there. So he goes into Hampton Roads. And that would bring us back to 6, but that's where we started. So that's the placement of the rebels. And now we move George Washington again. So he's going to go to the state that has the most Continental armies now within these 3 middle states. There are none in New York. There are none in Pennsylvania, but there's 1 in Virginia. So he's going to go to Virginia. It's, like I said, it's the same placement as the previous phase, but it's based on the number of rebel units instead of British units. And since there's only 1 Continental out, that's the only place he can go. Okay, so we moved Washington. Turn Benedict Arnold. Well, he's out there, but we can't attempt to turn him yet. So, and I think we're probably only a couple turns away from that. Yep, see, Benedict weds Peggy. So a couple more turns, and I actually have to pay attention to that a little more carefully. So that'll take us to the second battle phase. Starting with, New England. No battles there. New York, there are no battles there. Pennsylvania, there are no battles there. Virginia, oh, there's a battle there. And as I look, I see this is a blue county. Okay, that's going to mean there's a chance of the French intervening here. So I'm going to turn back to that rule. I think it's 8-1 because we want to make sure we do this right. We are going to roll a die, and we subtract -1 if the French fleet was shadowed. And as you'll recall, I forgot to leave one of my ships out to shadow the French fleet. I would have done that, but I forgot, so it is as is. Let me know die modification here. So if the fleet is in Boston, which it is up here in Boston, it will intervene on a die roll of 4, 5, or 6. So let's pray for a 1 here. Nope, that's not good. So where are we going to move him to? He's going to come down to the Chesapeake. So we placed the French fleet there, we did, in the state where the battle takes place. And then place the French army in the rebel stack in that battle, no matter where on the map that it's located, unless it's in the prisoner of war box. So, well, that's where the French army is going. So it comes out of Boston. Okay. I'm sure somebody was watching me do that and laughing the entire time. That was not the French fleet. This is the French fleet that's in Chesapeake. So this is the French army that goes into Virginia. And now we proceed with the battle. This really changes things. I thought this was going to be more in my favor than not, but now it doesn't look so good. So let's bring out the French army, this Continental army, against my 2 British units. And Washington is there. So I'm getting a warning here. I don't know if you guys saw that pop up or not, but apparently my keyboard is about to die. So hang on one second. I'm going to try to prevent that from happening. All right. So that does not affect our morale roll. It will affect loyalty changes based on how the battle turns out. So Virginia is at loyalty 6. This comes down to 6. No, we get no modifications here, so it's going to be just a straight roll. And it's a 4, so we get 1, they get 2. That's not too bad. Well, it is because the French army is there. All right, so where are we at? Town fort, and they are attacking. So let's see what they've got. Oh my goodness, 8 plus 1 is 9, plus 2 is 11. I don't like the sound of this already. So 11, and I've got 7 plus 1 is 8. So that's going to put them on the 100% column. That could have been a whole lot worse, I guess, but good thing I had what I had in there. So they will roll on the 100% column, and let's see what they get. Hopefully a 1. Oh! Okay, that's perfect. I'll take it. This attacker eliminated. So the French army and this Continental army go to the prisoner of war box. Oh, that's awesome. Ooh, I didn't think that was going to go that way. I was nervous there. I thought we were going to lose that county. So Hampton Roads, let's put these units back in. We reset this, and no change in status again in Virginia. That would have been the last 2 battles. Would have been well, Virginia's okay. It's Pennsylvania I was worried about last time. So Pennsylvania is still at 2. Virginia would have gone up to 7, but they stay where they're at because Washington's there. And I can't believe that I ran the French army out of Hampton Roads. That's huge. And let's see. I don't think the French fleet, I think they stay there until, let's see, place the French fleet. And French army, trying to see if the French fleet, I can't remember if it stays there or if it just gets replaced, again, further along in the turn track. The French army is still on the map somewhere. Doesn't say French fleet. The French fleet only intervenes if called for. I guess it just stays there for now. We'll have to remember it's there and see if it does get, well, let's go look real quick and see if it gets relocated. Probably naval reset. Or back over in our naval phase where it says rebase the French fleet. I think that's probably where it gets the upkeep for that is. We'll just leave it there for now and move along. So take that, French and the French fleet. All right, Carolina, whose loyalty is, they're way up here at 12. They're at their maximum loyalty, so that's good. We are going to mark the loyalty at 12 over here. Bring our battle marker out. The Continental unit goes in, our unit goes in, and look, it's a stronghold, loyalist stronghold for us. So we get +1 to the die roll, and I think that's it. And we're in the wilderness, so let's see what we get. We get to add 1, so 4 + 1 is 5. We get 2, they get 1. I'll take that. That's why you want your loyalty for these states to be high. It gives you more strength points. So, wilderness, and they are attacking, not me. So it is 2 + 1 is 3. And we are defending at 3 + 2 is 5. Good. That puts him on the 50% because remember you round down. And they attack. Let's hope they get a 1. Oh no, they get a 6. That is Defender Retreats, I believe. So let's see what we have here. Defender Retreats. The Defender's unit retreats according to Rule 810. So that's me retreating. I didn't want to do that. And this is where you have the retreat priority that we've seen before. So we are in Piedmont, so this won't be as bad as for us as it has been because we do have units in surrounding counties, so that's good. So here's the priority. If British player units are retreating and the French fleet is present in the sea zone, well, it's not in Carolina, so we don't have to worry about that. So it says otherwise retreat to a county containing friendly units only, and so there's still a direction here. So we would retreat to the higher number county here because that's our priority, and that's spelled out in the rule. So Piedmont, we're retreating out of Piedmont, we're going to go into Tidewater. So this loyalist unit would come into Tidewater, and that's the battle. There's not a pursuit option there for the rebels, so they will win that battle. I'm going to reset this, and they win. So Carolina's loyalty was at a maximum, but it's going to come down 1 now to 11. And we lose that county. Let's hope that doesn't come back to haunt us. I guess we're good here. So I think that's it for the battle phase, the second battle phase. I do not see any more battles that could happen, so that's good. Now we come to the conduct rebel campaigns. Okay, let's see what we get. This is where we roll, rebel campaigns. This is where we're going to roll 2d6s, and we've been really lucky with this. We've been rolling minor campaigns. So let's see, I'm returning to the rules here, 11.0, rebel campaigns. So we are going to roll our 2d6s, see what we get. 1 and 4, those are 2 minor campaigns. These are states, so I'm going to mark them. So state 1 is New England, and state number 4 is Virginia. And that's where we're going to have these minor campaigns. So this is where we this is where I made the mistake last time. You always deploy rebel reinforcements before you actually have your campaigns take place. And there's actually a priority order here. I did it randomly. Let's make sure we don't do that this time. So 2 states are campaigning. Reinforcements are 1 randomly selected Continental in the lower number and 1 cause unit in the higher number. So let's grab a Continental and a cause unit. And we will roll to see, let's see, and we don't roll this. It's strictly this Continental goes into New England. This cause unit goes into Virginia. Well, and we don't roll for placement. We're going to go to our place in order of priority. So the Continental in New England. Here we go. We start with number 1, the lowest number rebel occupied county, and that's valid here. So we are going to move this Continental will go to the lowest numbered rebel occupied county. So he's going to come into County 1 of New England. Then move any rebel forces in higher numbered counties in that state to that county. So that's all of these units. So all of these, this is going to be a monster stack in county number 1. So all these units go to county number 1 of New England. So let's see what it says. Minor campaign, so I'm reading along the rules. So the minor campaign, if the state does not contain British players, so I'm trying to see, I know my notes have it and the rules do too, but I'm having a hard time seeing it. So replace them in the order of priority. Okay, here we go. Well, let's go ahead and place the other unit first, and then we'll go through going through our battles here. So we have this cause unit. He gets placed the same way. So it's in the lowest number rebel occupied county. Well, there's not here because Virginia has our units in all those counties. So we go into 2, says in the lowest numbered empty county. Well, there's, like I said, they're all occupied, so that's not an option. Then the third option, in the lowest numbered British occupied county, and by necessity it has to be county 1. So he's going to come into here. And now we can go back up to New England and see what happens with this monster stack. So it says states that do not have any British player units. All rebels in that state must be placed in the critical county of that state. So the definition of a critical county would be anywhere that blue die is. So, except you'll remember New York doesn't have any blue die because that French fleet could never go into Long Island Sound. It was just too strong for them to get in there. So the rule book will tell you that the critical county is in fact Hudson Valley for New York. So, but anyway, we're going to move all of these units in this county, this Connecticut Coast County, will all move to the critical county of Rhode Island. And that's all they do. I'd say that's all they do. That's enough, right? Because look at that stack. Okay, so we come down to where a state does contain a British player. So the rebels will launch a minor campaign against, basically in this case, our unit in that county. And we follow the attack protocol of attacking British units already in the same county. So let's do that now. A battle in Virginia again. So we'll bring out our unit, their unit, and this is in Piedmont. Nothing special about Piedmont. It's not a stronghold. Congress is not there. They're still in flight. I don't know what Congress is up to there. They are staying off the board, and as far as I'm concerned, they can keep doing that. Virginia's loyalty sits at 6. Put that at 6. No modifications to the die roll here. It's going to be a straight roll. Let's clear that and see what we get. for militia. We get a 1. That's bad for us. Lower number is always bad. Bad, bad. Yep. So we get nothing. They get 3 militia units to show up. Okay. They are attacking. They are in a fort county. So they get fort county. So it's 1 plus 3 is 4. And we are defending at 3 plus 0. So it's 4 divided by 3. Puts them on the 100% column. And they attack. Let's hope the 1 shows up. Oh, and it does! The 1! Attacker eliminated. Okay, so this battle marker comes back. We go back into Piedmont. This cause unit is eliminated. And we reset the militia. So I don't get a loyalty bump because Washington is there. So their loyalty stays at 6. Okay. That was the end of the minor campaigns. So let's get these out. And that will take us to the logistics phase. I've been really lucky with the campaign phase. Usually for whatever reason, tend to get a lot of major campaigns, and those are a lot more destructive than minor campaigns, at least in my games, and even this game. We have this hideous stack up here. You get a major campaign, these things could come boiling out and just really, really flip the game on its end. This game has been really odd, but fun. This is why I like this game. Maybe it's completely different every time you play it. It tells a different story every time, which is what you want in a solo game. So let's go to the logistics phase, trading with the enemy. So this is where we have lobster units. We can spend money to boost loyalty. And so Pennsylvania is really the only one, maybe Virginia, but Pennsylvania is really the one I want to look at. We have 2 lobster units in, let's see. 2 lobster units in 2 of those counties. So I could spend £2 to raise their loyalty by 2. And Virginia we have, well, every county. I could spend £4 if I had it to raise the loyalty there, but I don't. And I don't think, I'd like to see that go up, but it's not what I am going to do. I am going to spend £2 to raise their loyalty to, I think I really want to get their loyalty back up. That's huge. And that's it for the trading with the enemy step of that phase. Now we go to naval transports. I can pay £1 to move around. I don't think I need to move anybody around at this point. No. Naval reset, move all of our in-harbor units back to at sea. And then we come down to the Liberty phase. So enlistments expire, nope. And we come to the big determine state control and move the Liberty Bell. So remember, I've got to control Pennsylvania, the target state. And I do control Pennsylvania. And I have to control 2 additional states. I control New York. And I control Virginia. I don't control Carolina, but we don't care because I meet this requirement. I hold the target state plus 2 other states. So the Liberty Bell will not move. It will stay at 1. That is incredible. All right. And now we adjust state loyalty modifications. Okay, so New England is not going to be adjusted. It can't be because it's at 0. It's at rock bottom. I'm going to flip to my modification reminder here. So we're going to go to New York. It is controlled by the British, so that would have been a +1. However, like I said, there are some modifications here. We do have Indians and Hessian units in this. I'm looking for my. I thought I had a quicker reference to look at here. I do. Here it is. So it's a +1 because we control the state, but there's Indian and Hessian units, so that's -1. You can only have a maximum of -1 for having either or of those units in there. So that's +1 -1 is 0. So nothing changes for New York. They're still at 10. So we come down to Pennsylvania. We do control Pennsylvania, and there's Hessians there, so it's +1, -1, no change in Pennsylvania. I know we still have Congress in flight over here. I think I should have made that roll, but well, let's make sure, because that would have an effect on this step. And here I thought I wasn't going to mess that up. Reconvene Congress should have taken place before this phase, so let's hold on 1 second here. So we need to do that before we check the loyalty of New York. So let's do a reset. We are still at the logistics phase. We're actually here again because we should have reconvened Congress. Won't affect anything else we've done though. So to reconvene Congress, I'm gonna get my rule book out, because we do have some modifiers that we must check before you reconvene Congress. So if they're in flight, we now see if they reconvene. And I'm looking because I wanted to see if there are any other modifications to this die roll, but it doesn't look like it. It's just a straight die roll. So we're going to roll this now on a roll of 6 again, which I really would just be incredible, and I would love to see it. Roll 6, they'll stay in flight. Any other roll, they're going to come out. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. They roll a 1. So what does a 1 tell us? If the roll is 1, Congress reconvenes in New York. A roll of 2 to 4 would be Pennsylvania, and 5 Virginia. So they rolled a 1. Congress has decided that they've been hiding long enough, but they're not going to go back to Pennsylvania. They're going to go to New York. At least they're out of hiding, I guess, for the rebels. So what that means is, moving back to where we were, it's not going to affect the Liberty Bell staying put, but what it will affect are the loyalty modifications. So you'll remember for New York, I'd said it was a 0 because we controlled New York, but yet we had these two units in New York, which would give us a -1. So that would have been 0, but now because Congress is there, it's an additional -1. So we're actually going to lose loyalty in New York because Congress decided to come back to New York. So that's going to go down to 9. All right, and then Pennsylvania, we control it, and there are there's the Hessians, so it's unchanged. It's 0 again, +1 -1. So we go to Virginia. It's Washington is there, and if Washington is there, it's a -1, and +1 because we control it, so it's 0. Virginia's not going to change either. We leave it where it's at. Come down to Carolina. Well, there's units from both sides there, so it's not going to change. So that is that for the loyalty checks. Determine control of Quebec. It's been awfully quiet in Quebec, so we still have those 2 original units sitting up there. We will leave those alone. Check for victory or defeat. Well, the Liberty Bell still is at 1, so we're nowhere near that 9. We are doing pretty darn good. And that'll take us to the random events phase. And if you'll remember, starting with turn 7, we will be rolling 3d6 to determine what to do for random events. So let's come over here, and we will roll 3 of these now. And we roll, quit moving, we roll 6, 10, 11. So we roll an 11 for random events. And that brings us down here. I will get my random events explanations out. 15-5 are Southern reactionaries. And this says that there are outspoken slavery supporters and other Southern reactionaries divide the revolutionary consensus, while Congress is accused of giving undue deference to the slave-owning Southern aristocracy. Decrease Virginia and Carolina loyalty by -1. So I guess this is yeah, it's an automatic thing. So Virginia and Carolina, their loyalty gets decreased by -1. I don't want to see that. Carolina, as you recall, was at their maximum. They're now 2 down below that. So Carolina and Virginia both go down 1. And moving right along, it says that New England and New York increased their loyalty by 1. So it's good for New England. They're actually at 1 now. I don't think it's going to stay like that, but for now, we'll take it. New York's going to go up 1 to 10. They go from 9 to 10. And Pennsylvania, we're going to roll for Pennsylvania. And if it's a even roll, Pennsylvania their loyalty will increase if it's an even roll. So let's see, they get it is an even roll, so Pennsylvania's loyalty will increase by 1. So they're here, they're now at 5. And that is it for that part of the random events. So that takes us to the one you know I hate to see, ships of line sent abroad. And for this one, it is 1 strength 4. British naval unit is moved to the in-harbor box and cannot be used next turn because it's busy fighting the French, the Dutch, the Spanish, or somebody else. Well, hopefully they're fighting the French because they're giving us headaches now. So one of our strength 4 units, we'll just grab this one, and it's in harbor now, so that's less for me to use. I only have 3 I can attack smugglers with the next time. Hate that, but oh well. And then Hessian desertions. 1511. Immediately and permanently. Don't like that. Immediately and permanently remove the 222 Hessian unit from the game. And it says if this happens again, treat it as a no event. So a Hessian 222 unit. Where is the Hessian 222 unit? I'm not seeing the Hessian 222 unit. Did I, is he in the, not in the force pool? He is he buried under one of these? No. Well, unfortunately, I think that's this gold band Hessian unit, which wasn't even out yet. So let's double check. Yeah, it doesn't matter if he's out or not. He's gone. So, well, that's not good. So this Hessian unit will come over here with this other unit that was expelled early on. And he is out of the game. So that's going to be, I think there's another, maybe some of the turn track events where those units get deployed, but we'll never see them deployed now. That's not good. All right, so that's it for our random events. It ends on a low note for us. And that will take us to the end of turn number 7. So what have we got? We are at, well, I think we're still looking pretty good. I think overall we're still looking good. We've got the French are in this now, and that could be a problem, although we seem to handle them pretty well, provided I didn't miss any rules or anything. We seem to be doing pretty good. It's rare for me to be at turn 7 and have this bell at 1, and by rare I mean this is the first time it's ever happened to me. So that's going to do it for now. That's going to do it for turn 7, and I will go back and I'll check for mistakes I've made. Hopefully I haven't made too many, if any. If I did, just leave me a comment telling me what I did wrong, and we'll try to make corrections for it if I can. And if I didn't, we'll keep moving right along, because this is a good game. I'm having fun here. This is good. It'll be interesting to see how this is going to turn out. Not looking too good right now for the Rebels, but like I said, this game can change in a turn, and we still have this huge stack forming up here that I've got to worry about. And like I said, we do have that that French army sitting up there in the prisoner war box, and if I remember correctly, they've got a pretty good shot of coming out. So that's going to take us back around to the start of turn 8 when we come back. Hope you've enjoyed this playthrough. Again, visit Armchair Dragoons and feel free to leave some comments there and some thoughts on what you'd like to see coming up next. Well, not next, I already have a game picked out next, but let me know what games you'd like to see. And I hope you've enjoyed this, and as always, thanks for watching.